Hello everybody, my name is X Factor, and this is some absolute crazy Division gameplay. That is a pack of ravenous wolves out for blood, 7 or 8 people. I make a critical mistake to start this off. This is my 4-piece sentry. I'm used to this being able to stack on people when I hit 3 headshots, increasing the damage they take by all my party members by 45%. But I get away from our support player, which has uber heals, and I re-peek a peek, and there's just simply too much. Instead of getting out of dodge, I tried to engage, and I go down with the ship. But I'm going to try to get back into the fight and not make a critical mistake like that, because this is about to be the never-ending manhunt. So that's going to be going on in the background, and it gets absolutely crazy. But today we're going to be talking about why the Division is circling the drain, and it's not looking good. We're going to go over some of the new exploits and glitches, talk about how it's affecting the game, both on console and PC. About a week ago, I did a video talking about Ubisoft's big problem. Seriously? It spans both Rainbow Six Siege and The Division. It has to do with Ubisoft's stance is simply too soft on hackers. So, Division is a progression game. You grind, grind, grind. You get these loot drops. You kill people. You gain XP. You take XP. You gain keys. You gain a sense of wealth within the game, as this guy actually recognizes me. So, what they do, if they catch a cheater in The Division, they don't wipe his stats. They give him a 3-day timeout. They come back to the game, and maybe they'll get a permaban down the line. Well, the detection is so bad that there are people that have had hundreds of thousands of views of them being exposed by various YouTubers, the same hackers, and they still haven't been suspended and or banned, which is absolutely horrific. These people that are on countless streams and YouTube videos and are just flying around one-shotting people, nothing's being done. So I have a problem with that. Ubisoft is not taking a stance. They've had over a week to kind of monitor the progress, and they're not doing anything. How about this? How about take a team of people, have them watch live streams, have them watch a couple YouTube videos, actually have them read the reports. The reports of videos come in and start nailing some of these people. That's absolutely horrific that there's been no change. They've got the manpower. And that's the other problem that bugs me right now. Ubisoft talks about the manpower it takes to fix things. I understand that things take time to fix, but they're talking about how there's new stuff coming. Wait a minute, Ubisoft. You might not have a game that people are playing in a month. There's been rumors and reports of up to 65% of the people stop playing after the first week. That's absolutely nuts. If that's true, the game truly is circling the drain. But this affects console players too. So everybody knows about the Falcons Lost, get out of the map glitch, or basically glitch through any wall in the dark zone. We've seen countless rogues do it, abusing the rogue system. They'll go rogue or manhunt, and they'll just shield through a wall. Or they get to Falcons Lost, and they just shield through the map, get out of the map, and start bombing the APC with explosive stuff, right? And everybody's saying, well, that's okay. And I'm actually not too mad at the Falcons Lost thing. And I'm going to get to that in a second. It has to do with the horrible loot in the DZ. But there's a new thing that's come around. This actually does affect console players. And in the last video I did, there's a lot of comments, well, on my console, that's not going to affect me, X Factor. We don't have hackers and exploiters and glitchers. Well, now you do. And it just acts just like a hack. So now, thanks to the talent systems being broken in the Division, and I'm going to explain my broken talent system. I have 2 AUGs. I made about 25 of them. One of which has a talent that gives me my Uber back. Every time I get a headshot kill, 11.5% of my resource is gained. And then I have another AUG, which is my DPS AUG, which is around 250 to 260k damage before I pulse or get some sort of buff from teammates. So it does a lot of damage, but doesn't have that talent. So when I use my ult, I'll quickly kill a couple mobs, usually 7 or 8, to get my ult back. But I have to switch my AUG. Well, I found out that after making a mistake and not equipping the right AUG, the one that actually brings my ult back, as you can see, the one that has only 173 DPS on it before I equip it, it was actually still bringing back my ult with my primary AUG. So, the talents are broken, especially if you have the same gun. Now, the question is, how deep does that go? Can you carry 3 or 4 AUGs and get all those talents? Well, I can tell you this. I could have my Uber recharge, my ultimate recharge, by using my primary AUG, the one that's got crazy DPS and the stats that you really want. So that's not that big of a problem compared to what I'm about to talk about. There's actually a damage glitch or exploit in the game, and again, this is PS4. This is Xbox One. This is PC. Now you've got guys that can get competent on their weapon. They do this quick switching thing, and their DPS starts scaling. That's the talent where if you pop some sort of skill, a heal or a pulse or even your ultimate, you have increased your damage by 13% by 10 seconds. Well, they're quick switching it, they're popping it, and you can read about it online. There's a ton of different articles. There's a ton of different tweets. And there's also videos of people two-shotting the APC with explosive rounds. So not only could they get out of the map for Falcon's Lost and do a bunch of sticky bombs, but now they can pop explosive rounds and two-shot it. Yes, it takes a lot of time, but here's the problem. It's doable on console. As I just popped that guy with explosive shot with the M1A first wave here. That took me about 20 to roll a good one. And I find out there's an actual guy with high electronics over there. So now on Xbox and PS4, you guys can get hit with guys that have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million damage AKs or even pistols. Whatever weapon has it, they can use it. And there's actually another way to use it even if it isn't on that weapon, to my understanding. It's absolutely crazy. There's a ton of different people that were live streaming this, even doing it in the dark zone, which is nuts. I mean, Falcon's Lost is one thing. I get it. Ubisoft messed up. They still haven't removed mobile cover. They've tried to tweak this thing. Supposedly there's a patch going in tonight. But PvP in the dark zone? Really? So that's a problem. Guarantee you this game has combat logging. Guarantee you Ubisoft really hasn't done anything about that, because obviously that'd be a way for them to detect and take care of the current people that are problematic on the PC side. So going back to this Falcon's Lost thing, that's supposedly getting fixed for like the second or third time. And I'm not even mad about that, and I alluded to this earlier, and here's why. The loot in the dark zone absolutely sucks. It is horrible. You go up to DZ 4, 5, and 6, whether it's you and another buddy, or you got a 4-man group, and you're getting performance mods, you're getting attachments, you're getting pistols. You're not getting 214s. You'll never see a 240. And the set pieces that drop are Nomad. And come to find out, the source code for the game was leaked. They broke it down, and scavenging is absolutely useless unless you want greens and purples. It does nothing to give you better golds or better chance for a set piece or better stats on your gold or better stats on your weapon. Nah, nothing. Who wants blues and greens and purples after you just neutered the crafting of this game? And that's another problem. You can fill up your stash, and you might be able to make one piece of gear, but you more than likely need 4 pieces of gold DT. Yes, gold DT drops more often, but the good set pieces take 22 fabric and I think 8 electronics. Golds, when you break them down, give you 1 piece of fabric. The high-end greens give you 2 pieces of fabric. So as you're breaking down that Nomad or certain things that drop, that helps you in that regard. So not only is the RNG horrible on things that you pick up in the open world or the dark zone, but it's absolutely a nightmare when crafting. Talk about creating a weapon. There are so many bad talents that it takes forever to craft something decent. Some people get a decent roll within 3 or 4 hits. Sometimes it takes them 25, 30, or 40. I know a guy who crafted the perfect AK. It took him 100 crafts. I can't tell you how many mats that is. So let's keep talking about the exploits and glitches that are available in the game, because it gets better. Now there's a way to duplicate mats. Countless mats. Not gold division tech. That's the only saving grace there. But think about countless fabric. Think about countless electronics. Think about countless tools and weapon parts. Now you can just keep rolling things that don't require the DT and get a pretty kick-ass weapon. So that is a massive problem. How about currency to re-roll things? Well, there's a way to duplicate that now, and you can do it on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. So I actually have gear that cost me 400,000 just to re-roll 1 stat line, because I've had some horrible luck with some of my end-game set pieces. I have quite a few pieces of 204 and 214s, and only 1 or 2 240s, I believe. And it gets really, really expensive. Well, if I were to utilize that exploit, I could have $1 million or $2 million within a kill or 2 on mobs. That's absolutely nuts. So going back to the loot in the dark zone, let's kind of talk about the things that they can do. They can actually have 204s and 214s and maybe an occasional 240 drop. That would actually liven things up. Right now, it's just Terabad gear that drops. The set pieces that drop are horrific. And they talked about actually having loot tables for named bosses. No. According to the source code that was leaked and data mined, that's not the case at all. Yes, there are a few instances where you can find something specific, like a set piece, a chest, or a holster. But for weapons, it could be anywhere. Any named, any instance, it really doesn't matter. And there are very few exceptions, again, to some of the set pieces. There are some exceptions. But that should be expected. When they talked about specific loot tables, I'm thinking about go farm this goblin 200 times and you're guaranteed to get this drop at least 3 or 4 times. Not kill any named boss and you might get that drop 0.5% of the time, because that's how it is right now. So the Dark Zone is a complete mess. The game is an absolute complete mess. These exploits and the bad crafting and everything is stacking up. The game is circling the toilet. It's not looking good. And it has me really, really sad, because I do enjoy parts of the game. I enjoy the chase, being the DZ police, taking care of the people who try to jump us and helping out solo or duo guys. Just running with them, maybe tagging mobs with them, making sure they don't wipe. I love the chaos of it. But right now, you have no way of telling if somebody's legit, or they have crazy high-end gear, or if they're modifying their damage, or if they're using a cheat engine, or they did some sort of crazy exploit. I mean, the game is an absolute mess. Do I walk away for a month? Could this game get better in a couple months? Absolutely. But right now, the developers don't seem to be showing any sort of urgency. The communication is slowly starting to die between the developers and, of course, us as the consumers. And that is the wrong thing to do. I mean, take a lesson from DICE. DICE actually put up CTE servers, test servers. They actually started working with and talking with the community on a very open and transparent basis. That's one of the best things that's happened to the Battlefield franchise in countless years. It actually fixed the game. Battlefield 4, when it launched, was an absolute sack of rotten potatoes. But thanks to CTE, DICE LA, it actually became a hell of a game. Probably one of the best games I've ever played. This game had all the potential, and it's an absolute sack of potatoes, and it's getting worse. You just found out that you have 50 rotten sacks of potatoes, which stink to high hell, and there's nothing you can do with them. So what do we do as consumers? What have you done? Have you walked away yet? Are you holding your breath? Well, I, being Mr. Optimistic, am not going to be able to hold my breath much longer, because I've seen so much bullshit in the Dark Zone. All these new exploits and glitches are just icing on the cake. Even if the guy isn't using a cheat engine, he can still modify his damage. Maybe only tweaks it 20%. Well, that's the difference of a gunfight. That's for sure. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think the developers over at Ubisoft should do? Do you think this game still can be saved? Did you leave the game? Are you contemplating leave the game? Tell me what you guys think. Let's get some information going down below. And believe it or not, we actually survived this fight. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the last push that we make before we run off our timers.
Got him. But he's fucking, they keep reviving him. No. Go, Sig. Manhunt. Come back around the corner. Yeah. Yeah, ammo's getting feisty. I don't have a scan up. Oh! Double revive.